I'm ready.
Hey everybody, this is Kary Oberbrunner, and I have with me the amazing Jill Young, and she is here with a live audience. So let's see those people.
Heck yes, I
am. Yeah. Awesome. And I saw a rabbit. I saw a carrot. Is the rabbit going to eat the carrot?
No, and Kary, the rabbit's kind of offended right now because the rabbit is actually a unicorn.
Okay. The unicorn likes carrots. All right, there you go. All right, good. Well, listen, we are talking about the thinking advantage, and I'll tell you what, Jill, even slide that thing like 1 foot over. Yeah, exactly. Go. Keep going. Love it. That is perfect. I love that cover. I love the light bulb. I love the teamwork. We have people from Chicago jumping in. We're going to be, I'm personally buying several copies of Jill's book during the live stream, and we're going to give it away to the most engaged member. So those, so those people in the room, if they can go to KaryOberbrunner.com, Facebook on Kary Oberbrunner, share this thing. And listen, Jill, we're going to give away some gold today and teach.
Let's do it.
So first of all, are most businesses not thinking?
First of all, are most businesses not thinking?
Yes.
Businesses are just caught up in doing. And we love doing. We love to make sure that the actions are being taken and we're getting stuff done. But there's just so many times that I see when I'm working with my clients in the session room that we keep doing, and we don't take a step back to just think about what we're doing. Sometimes we've been doing things the same way over and over again, when really if we just stop to think about it, we could make some improvements, save ourselves a whole lot of time, but we're just not doing enough thinking in companies. Well, I'm going to rephrase that. The leadership team is doing a lot of thinking. And managers are doing a lot of thinking, but they're not delegating that thinking and really teaching the thinking to the whole organization as much as they could be. So hopefully the book helps everybody do that, just even 1% more, and we'll make our world a better place.
Oh, I know it will, because I've seen the book. It's fantastic. So why do people not trust their people to think?
I think a lot of times it's just habit. I think it's habit. I think it's personal expectations. When you take a leadership position, the first thing we think about is, how am I going to do this? How am I going to create results? And most leaders do. I think it's because we grew up that way. This is how we've climbed the ladder, if you will, by thinking our way into these positions. So we've done that. We know how to do that. We know how to produce results. When we take a leadership team or a leadership position, we just take that old mindset with us and we think we have to do everything ourselves. Of course, you know what we learn when we run on EOS is we want to delegate so we can elevate. But a lot of us aren't thinking about delegating the thinking as well. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why that happens. But I think, first of all, it's just ingrained in our expectations that if we're the leader, we must do all the thinking.
Oh, that's so good. Well, I have some notes here that I wrote down because it is a fantastic book, and I wanted to serve everybody super well by getting the notes. But we're going to first of all, talk about that cover, because I know we spent some time on the cover, but why did you say that cover is it? What does it symbolize? The people, the light bulb, the hands, all that stuff.
The cover for me was when I saw it, that's the one I said, that's it. It's absolutely that. And Kary, you remember we went through lots of different choices, but the one, this one that really spoke to me is because it's the hands, and it's the hands. It's all the doers. Right? It's all the doers in the world, lots of different types of professions and skilled laborers and thought workers. It's just all of us together. But now we're having a thought, which is the shape of the light bulb. But we're all going in this together to really just have more of that thinking advantage. So I was really happy with your designers when they came up with this.
Well, I like it too a lot, and I knew we nailed it with the cover. But let's talk about those 4 essential steps. So I know you're here on site with the team. First of all, let's give some promo to that team. What business are you with today?
Well, this was so fun because we actually co-created this event together. We were in session, and this team is ThinkWhy. Let's hear it. So this is ThinkWhy, and I was coming out with the Thinking Advantage, and this is just a very, very creative team. And we just started co-creating and having all of these ideas. It's like, what if we do the launch right from your site? So I thought that was really fun. So ThinkWhy is a very creative team. At the heart of who they are thinkers. And sometimes we say overthinkers. Yeah. Okay. So that's where's Kramer? He's our favorite overthinker. There we go. Sometimes overthinkers, but they're just such talented thinkers. But they've created this amazing product that really helps the recruiting industry have actual facts about what people are being paid in different metro areas, and they have such a unique product that nobody else on the planet has, and it's helping other thinkers think better and make faster and more accurate decisions. So that's called Labor IQ, which again, I love because I love workers and I love thinkers, and that's what this team really supports. So it was just really serendipitous that I got to do the book launch here from ThinkWhy headquarters.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, listen,
on almost Halloween.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I had my book launch last week, and one of the things that I thought was powerful is I brought a few people up on stage because I think it really qualifies the whole message. So I'm going to ask you to pick someone from the crowd and let's talk to them. Whoever, it could be the unicorn or the rabbit, or or it could be the carrot. Please. Or it could be whoever you want, and let's talk about some of the book in real time.
So my friend Ron Jauncey is going to come up here and join me.
That's fine.
Ron and I met at Strategic Coach. So
okay. Oh yeah, I love Strategic.
Another one here, Ron.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how we're not going to.
That's perfect. You're fine right there. You're fine right there.
And I especially love Ron being here today. Ron's the visionary of and he's worked with several companies on EOS. So this is really exciting to get to coach him here. But I really love Ron, especially for right now, because he was a test reader of the book.
Wow.
He was a test reader and gave me lots of good encouragement. And he just bought a whole stack for all of his friends. So Ron,
that's Ron, cool.
You do that.
Well, because when I read the first version of the book, it struck a chord. We have so many people, outstanding people in our company, and we don't really take advantage of some of their, quote, thinking. Mm-hmm. It's like she says in her book, somebody will say, it's not my job to think. I'm just here. I'm paid to just do X, Y, Z.
Oh, wow.
We need everybody in this company thinking about the big picture. How are we going to accelerate our growth? And let me tell you this. Jill is incredible. She has done so much to further the growth of our company over these past 2.5 years that we've been working with her. And it's not just the EOS system. This lady has so much energy, so much drive. She's inspirational. She helps us grow. And this book, oh my God, I'm going to give it to everybody I know. And because it can really change their lives and how they go about growing.
That is so good. I love it. Well, it's already number 1. And Jill, I don't know if you knew that, but I'm going to bring that up to you.
Yay! That's exciting.
So we're going to bring that up on Amazon and show everybody, but that's quite a feat here to do that. So I'm bringing it up right now, the Thinking Advantage. And you already have several categories. I saw it yesterday. I think I couldn't help it. I gave you a screenshot, yesterday, but it just, Amazon just keeps picking categories and it just is blowing up, and all your other books. That's what's cool. Hey, look at the Courage Advantage there. So this is your trilogy. Now, why? I love it. Why would people get the Courage, the Earning, and the Thinking Advantage? I mean, while you're shopping on Amazon, might as well get all three. But why do all three make sense?
Well, the first reason, and it's just kind of high level, that if anybody follows me, you probably have kind of figured this out by now. If you haven't, then here it is for you. But my whole body of work is really just around becoming better, just even 1%. So I'm not the kind of person, Kary, who is going to wait my entire life to get something really, really perfect, 100%, and then publish it. Now, I do have some friends like that. They've been writing a book for 10 years. That's good for them. For me, it's an idea. It's a question that I have. Then I go explore it. I talk to some people. Is it true? Is it useful? And then I publish it. So all three of these are definitely focused around entrepreneurial companies and getting entrepreneurial companies to grow faster. I'm just really passionate about that. The first one, the Earning Advantage, is really a tool I created for bosses. And when you're the boss and one of your employees or team members comes to you and asks for a raise, you immediately feel like frustrated, thrown off track. Do we even have budget for that? Now you're fearful. What if I don't give them a raise? They'll leave. And I just created that book, The Earning Advantage, to just hand to an employee when they ask for a raise. And you just say, I'm super excited. This is a great day. Go read the book and come talk to me. So that's just bringing people together. It's getting the employee and the business owner and the manager, the boss, on the same page. So that's that one. The Courage Advantage. Oh my gosh. When you are on an entrepreneurial leadership team, we are making decisions like crazy. That fear bubbles up almost every day, and especially 2020. Where's my dumpster fire? We're 2020, especially in 2020 when we don't know what's around the corner. Look at this. Check her out. She's just a dumpster fire.
I love that.
That's what we feel like. And it was way before 2020. Did we think at any moment in these entrepreneurial companies, things could be a dumpster fire? So this fear bubbles up almost daily. And what I discovered is that those companies who can be really courageous and just daily make tiny little courageous decisions, again, just 1%, if that's it, they can really just start to move their company forward faster. So that's a little bit about the other two books. Kary, I always think it's really cool whenever I launch a new book, the old book sells some more copies.
Yes.
I haven't even talked about that book for a while.
Yes. I love it. I don't
know why. You probably know why. I don't know why, but.
Well, it's all good. I mean, books do that. Books bring a spotlight on your entire business. And I think that's why some people are nervous to publish books, because they're like, ooh, not everything's perfect. But you drink your own medicine, meaning you step in the fear and do it anyway. Yeah. So let's jump in and let's talk about some of these steps. What's one of the steps that people could take?
Well, I always like to, you just mentioned a little bit about authors and like maybe why people don't publish books. So I just want to give you a little context of where this came from. So yes, Ron gave a little summary of the preamble of the book, just where, there really was a situation where somebody said, it sounds like you're asking me to think and I don't get paid to think.
Whoa.
It just hit me at the depth of my core as, oh my gosh, that's just,
But let's talk about where that comes from.
Yeah.
Because Ron's an amazing guy, but there's some bosses that probably have told people in the past, I don't pay you to think, shut up, and that's horrible.
Right.
But right. Is that where it comes from?
It surely might come from that. What I love about what Ron did, and I'm a coach, so I'm always observing what he's saying and how he's saying it. So maybe you guys caught this, maybe it was just me, But what he said is that he is taking responsibility for that. He is saying, and he and I had a little discussion beforehand too, is that if somebody says, I don't get paid to think, well, then whose problem is that? And Kary, you just kind of said it too. You get, I coach you too, Kary. So I'm always watching your words.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the big point. Ron said, and it's in the preamble of the book, if somebody says, I don't get paid enough to think, well, then what's our job as leaders? Well, let's teach them how to think.
So it's our fault.
This is our problem. In fact, with all of my leadership teams, one of the first things we do is we look at each other and really say, if there's any dysfunction going on, anything slow, anything stuck, any wrong people on the wrong seat, it's like, whose fault is it? Well, it's our fault. We take responsibility. So the book, I know you asked about the 4 steps, is really giving a pattern. I like to call them algorithms, giving an algorithm to leadership teams of entrepreneurial companies of how you can take responsibility for this. And really, it's looking at how your company thinks about their people and how they think about their thinking. So with that said, I'll go into a quick summary of the 4 points. But the 4 points were really discovered, and they were discovered over probably about a 6-year time span. I do a workshop called the Accountability Activator. Those have been put on hold for now. But in this Accountability Activator, I taught several accountability tools. And over the course of 2 or 3 years, I started to work with the tools. And I started to say, well, this tool is really working, and this tool is just kind of not really working. So just really being a business scientist and seeing what works. And at the end of every workshop, I would say, what was most valuable to you? And then again, the way I do my workshops is a month later, I check in and I say, what are you still using? Because it's super valuable that day, but if they're not using it 30 days later, I'm like, there was something I did taking responsibility that didn't let it stick. So this book is a culmination of one of those tools in Accountability Activator. And at first I called it the Swiss Army knife of LMA. And then there was something about a river. I really worked with the names on here, but really these 4 steps now are just baked into the thinking advantage. So I just want everybody to know that, because I didn't just make it up overnight and plop it into a book. It really was a 6-year process.
Wow. I love it. So this has been live from the field.
Yes, from the field. That's the only way I know how to learn, is by actually doing it and iterating.
Well, listen, I want to give away a copy right now. So I'm gonna ask Yavina, who's our host. She's on Facebook. Go ahead and pick someone who's been massively engaged, and we're gonna send them. Our team will send them a book, The Thinking Advantage. Also, you have a very special person who joined, Abby, who's been helping you a lot.
Abby.
So Abby's probably holding the baby, but she's a member of our team who literally has to be a thinker. So I mean, she's applying your message.
She really is. Abby, what I love about Abby is I am her client, but she leads me. I love it. I love
That's interesting.
Everybody working for me, my Stephanie and Lindsay, you guys might be watching. I love them to lead me. I like them to do the thinking for me and say, Jill, here's what I think you should do. And that's exactly what Abby does for me right there at Igniting Souls and Author Academy. Is she leads me.
Wow.
And she is very bold. She sometimes says, if I don't get this from you tomorrow, we can't launch by October 30th.
There you go.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it.
Yes. Well, so it's basically a secure, and so I'm gonna compliment Ron here. Is Ron still in the room?
He is. He's still here.
All right, good. Well, then I'll make sure I say extra good things.
Yeah, he's going to say extra good things about Ron Johnson.
But you really have to be a confident and secure leader to let your team think. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of people who are egocentric who think, I got to have it all together. I got to say everything right. That's pretty insecure leader. Why do you think only certain leaders make the cut?
So this is interesting that you asked this, because I've actually been asking myself the same question. I don't know. Pop out into a book at some point. I also coach other coaches, and coaches need to be leaders. We're not bosses, but we're coaches. So there's all kinds of different leadership. And part of the book goes into that. You can use the thinking advantage even with people you don't have a specific title authority.
Sure.
With.
Okay.
But I think what's happening is people who are really great leaders have done their own personal work. That's the best phrase I can come up with. Claudine, I'm waving at Claudine. She looks like Cyndi Lauper today. So
do you want to bring her up?
Oh, Claudine.
Oh,
It's the Cyndi Lauper.
This is fun. This is good.
Here she is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Going on.
Absolutely.
This is great. This is so authentically Claudine.
I love it.
One of the things I love about Claudine is she does her personal work. So when she shares her business and personal best, it's about her Pilates or her self-care.
Yes.
And things that I can tell she's a deep thinker about how to be the best her. And when she can be the best Claudine, then that's when she shows up as the best leader. But the people who just haven't done the personal work, who are still very egocentric, they're not servant oriented. It's really hard for them to delegate the thinking. They think where their value lies.
Well said.
Anything else you have to say about that, Claudine?
Well, I think that to be a true leader, that's what you have to give up to allow others to be leaders in their own roles, and that's part of that evolution.
Now, didn't Cyndi Lauper sing?
Yeah.
Or something?
Your audience. I don't want to scare your audience, but
all right. I was just gonna say you could if you want.
Love the book. It's really the thinking advantage is phenomenal. It's made a big difference for us.
Awesome.
Girls just want to have fun. I'm just saying.
Yes. Well, I love meeting all these fantastic characters. So
characters. Fantastic characters.
We even have Paul from the UK. So hey, we're international book launch right now. Yeah.
Hey, Paul.
Hey. So let's jump in, and I have some questions for you.
All right.
Why are you so passionate about coaching?
Oh, how long do we have? I'm a simplifier. I can make it short. We're at the very core. I think we're all here to help other people. To help other people do something, just to serve other people. That's where I find my deepest joy. And when I help other people, whether it's through selling a product or selling a service or growing a company, ThinkWhy is really big here about they're people inspired. People first, like people inspires everything. So we're helpers. So I'm just really, really passionate about that. And then I've had lots of coaching training. I've read the books. I am a coach. So that's good that I've had training.
Right.
I'm a coach. But as I look at all of that, what I just boil it down to is coaching is just simply helping people become their best. So helping people is great. Help people. That's awesome. It's kind of maybe in our core, in our spirit to just want to be helpful people in general on the planet. But then when you're a coach, you get to help people be their best. And how satisfying is that? So I really, in the book, part of the book, and when I do speaking engagements on this, it's often around the topic of coaching. And what I love to do is take everything that I know, or at least some parts of it, because some stuff I don't even know what I don't know, and teach everybody some coaching skills. Teach everybody how to be a coach.
So your philosophy is that really everybody in a company should be a thinker, a coach, and then someone else said a leader.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? There's another just phenomenon that's happening right now, and it's been happening probably for the last 10 or 15 years, is that where knowledge is dispersed. So if you kind of go back to the old style management, old style structures of company, you had the boss at the top, wearing the suit, isolated, and most of the time it was his office, right? encapsulated there and kind of telling everybody what to do and making all the decisions. Well, information and education is just so dispersed now, and we're learning new stuff all the time, that the knowledge is everywhere in the company. So how can the boss, just like Claudine said, I don't know everything. I have to delegate the leadership too. How can the boss know everything? It's impossible. There's pockets of knowledge everywhere in the company, but we got to extract that knowledge. We got to extract that thinking. If you have a thinking partner, if you have a coach to talk about something with, create, who's not your boss, awesome.
Awesome. I love it. Well, listen, here's what I'm going to do now. We're going to give away a copy.
Let's do it.
Let's give away the copy to the most engaged member. And again, I didn't pick it, so don't blame me. But the Thinking Advantage, Carolyn Davis from Chicago is going to get this book, and she is fantastic.
Oh, hi, Carolyn.
Yeah, she saw you speak at the conference, the Igniting Soul Conference this week.
Great.
So that's super cool. One of the things I love about Amazon is we can actually look inside. So let's go inside and look at the book and get ready, because I know as an author this is scary, right? But we're gonna go inside and look. And
the scariest part for me whenever I launch a book is that when I send it out to test readers. That's
totally.
the scariest part.
Yeah. Well,
when you look for those people saying, "What? No, I don't know what you're talking about."
I love it. One of the things I love about Table of Contents, though, you really, it's like the signposts, the street signs for where you're taking us on the journey. So even just take us down the journey for a little bit. You have teach, coach, don't rescue, and then they omitted a section. So we got to get the.
That's all right. That'll be the cliffhanger. I'll just share it with everybody.
There you go.
So the Thinking Advantage is designed into four steps that you really need in your company in order to create this thinking advantage in your company. And the first step, as most first steps are, it sounds really basic and it kind of sounds silly, but it's the most important step, and it's teach. We must become companies who are just really good at teaching people, this is crazy, teaching our clients. Yes, teaching our clients, like this is how you use the product, teaching each other, teaching our new hires. We just need to become a really great company full of teachers. And this section goes through how adults love to learn. So there's some good insights on that. A lot of us, when we say, oh, I need to teach somebody this, we just go right back to elementary school and we think, I've got to be the teacher, so I'm going to talk at you all day long, and you will be the student, and you write it down and regurgitate information. Well, that's not actually teaching people to think. So there's some really great elements of adult learning that are right there in that chapter. And the reason it's so important is because the next step that we go to, coach, is just very, very difficult, and it's time consuming, and bosses and mentors will just hate this step if you don't do really good coaching. So you think about teaching as just getting everybody the textbook or school-like. They need the basic information. When I was president of a CPA firm, I remember having interviews with people. I'm like, okay, you know how to use QuickBooks? Yep. You know what a financial statement is? Yep. All right, you're hired, and here's your login. And you know how to use QuickBooks, so there you go. And it was just very little teaching because I just thought they knew how to do it. And they did know how to do their craft, but they didn't know the way we did it. So then what would happen is I would just have questions minute after minute after minute. How do you use the printer?
Sure.
What do we use? Where do I get this? And it was just exhausting to just, what I was really doing is just kind of jumping into coaching, which wasn't really even coaching at all. It was just telling people what to do.
Yes.
Invest in really great teaching, and then the coaching becomes fun. So if teaching is that you go ahead and teach all the science, right, all the basics and the rules, then the coaching gets to be the art. And you get to have conversations around the exceptions. That you're asking deep questions. And this is where the thinking really starts to engage, is when you really engage in coaching. So teaching and teaching 2 really great first steps.
Yeah. Well, and I love the fact that you said in the beginning, I'm not paid to think, that some people use as an excuse. I think another reason why they say that is because they don't want to own the results. You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, if you just tell me what to do, then I don't have to blame myself if it doesn't work. Have you ever run into that?
Well, for sure. And we find this happening in entrepreneurial companies a lot, especially when they're hitting the ceiling and they say, I got to do something else. That's usually when they engage with me. We run on EOS. But really the core of that, where people don't want to take responsibility, is just really unclear expectations. So, and really this starts again back with the leader taking responsibility. Does the leader even know where they are going? Does the leader even know what they're expecting? So again, thinking at all levels to make sure we're all on the same page with that. And then here's the miracle of this. Once you really start coaching somebody and asking them a deep question and then just being quiet as their coach, their brain cells turn on automatically. It's our natural state. We want to think. We've probably been conditioned not to in some situations. So there's lots of good ideas right there in the book where leaders can take responsibility for just activating brain cells in everybody instead of just, dialing it in. Yep. And wanting people to do.
That's so good. Well, I don't know if you know this, but maybe you do, but the word amuse means to not think.
Oh.
So A is not, muse, is think. So I mean, we've been like a society that is told to be amused, and that's it,
Kary, I'll even admit to that. I wrote the book on thinking, and I'm a thinker. I love it. I thrive in it. You and I love to co-create things. I co-create with this team here at Think Why. I love it. I'm passionate about it. But if I'm going to take some time off, guess what I want to do?
Think.
I want to be amused. No.
Oh, okay.
I want to laugh.
In other words, you don't want. Yes, no, that makes tons of sense.
So if somebody says, let's go to this intense movie, or if I read a book for pleasure, I'm like, no, I want to laugh. I want to laugh. Let me laugh.
That's good.
Thinking I need some relief.
No, that makes a ton of sense. That makes a ton of sense. And it probably, as weird as it sounds, this little confession, but like our leaves are falling a ton right now in Ohio. Yeah. And I'm actually looking forward to driving the tractor, bagging the leaves. Why? Because like the brain's been going so much with the conference and the book launch. So I totally get what you're saying. This is why people like exercising even sometimes yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Is there any other characters there that we can say hi to? Do you have Billy Joel or Johnny Cash?
Bridget, come here, Bridget. You guys, listen, there's a little post on LinkedIn. She's like, oh dear. There's a little post on LinkedIn where one day in session, Bridget's like, we got to film a commercial. So I'm like, we only have 10-minute break. We filmed a commercial for Think Why Labor IQ.
No.
She's the mastermind behind all of it.
I love it.
Yes.
So this is
incredible marketing guru unicorn.
She is the unicorn.
We've been streaming as well on Think Why's channel. Get this book. It's so great. Jill, you encourage the vulnerability to create the safety to think. Even Ron's acknowledged it. Claudine's acknowledged it. And that's our power and gift to others is to encourage them to think bigger. So thank you for writing this.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Thank you for playing.
And I'm sorry I offended you by calling you a rabbit.
Yes, and we actually have 2 unicorns in the room. We did, and one of them looks a little more. She's like a little more like a fluffy rabbit. I think it was the pink ears. I think it was the pink. Yes. No. She's like, no, I just want to be a unicorn.
But that brings up a point that she just mentioned, that you as a leader have to create a safe space, because a lot of us have been wounded in childhood where it's like school for some of us was not this healthy place. We were told you don't measure up, or you don't get the good grades, or you don't think well. So for some people, telling them you start thinking is really kind of like painful. Would you agree?
I do. And a couple of things, if if there's bosses listening to this, and you're thinking, how do I do this? 2 quick things to keep in mind. Silence is uncomfortable, but it's also the very best and easiest thing you can do as a boss to create a safe space. Just be with the person in silence. And again, our brains start thinking. And Kary, your book, Unhackable, that just came out last week, that's actually teaching us how to create that space in our brains so that we're not hacked, we're not distracted, we're not taken off track. But that safe space can be created with just 2 minutes of silence, and your brain will tell you what it's thinking. But we just don't have that. And then the second key point to keep in mind to create those safe spaces. So silence is one. The second one is repetition. If you do that once with somebody that you're coaching, and this, again, the coaching part of the thinking advantage can happen with anybody. You do that once and they might not respond. But you do that again, you create a safe, silent space for them to think, then they start to catch on. And I'm just a big fan of third time's the charm. And by the third time you create that safe thinking space, ideas start to come out. And then when you really listen, then they're not threatened.
I also feel that when you are a boss, admitting that you don't know all the answers is huge.
Yes.
Right? Like in other words, to say in a meeting or an L10, and if you don't know what an L10 is, I love those, but Jill's our EOS coach, and I couldn't imagine life without Jill through the pandemic, because you helped us. I tell the story. Our first gathering was March 13th, Friday the 13th. And literally Saturday we're flying out, and like COVID is happening.
Yeah.
We were the last flight out. And yet you helped us with our core values. And even back to that 2-day that you had with us, I didn't know all the answers. And I'm quote the visionary. So Ron, I get you, man. I get you. But to say in some meetings, I don't know what our core values are. I think it then allows other people, other teammates, to then fill in the space, as opposed to a leader who acts like they have it all together. What do you think?
Sure. So I don't know is a good one, because you say I don't know, then it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on the people around you to think, oh, well, if he doesn't know, then I got to know. And it turns on those brain cells. The other one is I was wrong.
Ooh, that's even tougher.
I was wrong.
That's
because when I'm wrong, that makes a safe space for you to be wrong also. So I'm going to debunk a myth right here. Some bosses out there are going to go, oh no, I've been doing that for years. And that's okay, because today is the first day that you can stop doing this.
Yes.
Some bosses tell their people erroneously. So don't do this. Ready, everybody? Don't do this. Write this down and then scratch it out. Some bosses tell their people, if you come to me with a complaint, you must come to me with a solution. What that does in the thinking person's brain is, listen, I can see that there's something wrong. I don't know how to fix it. That's how I am coming to you. But now you've just shut me down from coming to you. You've just shut me down, and you place pressure on me. If you've said this to me, you place pressure on me to coming up with the right answer. Oh my gosh, in my isolated brain, how can I come up with the solution to this scene? That's a ton of pressure. I can't do that. But if bosses instead will say, if you come to me with a problem or an issue, will you also come to me with some ideas? Ideas. We bosses, and if you're listening to this and you're an employee and you have a boss and you have ideas, your boss wants them. If you don't think your boss wants them, try it 3 times. again, you got to try 3 times. Hey, boss, I have some ideas that might help us fix this. Would this be helpful? So stop asking your people to come to you with solutions. Ask them to come to you with ideas. Ideas is just so, they could be wrong ideas. Come to me with bad ideas. Uh-oh, where's Jay? Oh, he took his costume off. Jay had a fail, and it might not have been Jay, but at Think Why we had a funny little fail, and that you pushed a button on the software, and you had to like, the client actually had to scroll through all this information. It looked like spaghetti grid. And you know what they did at Think Why? They laughed about it. They said,
wow.
And they laughed about it. And now they've made a joke out of it. What do we call it, Jay?
Spaghetti monster chart.
We call it the spaghetti monster chart.
I love it.
Next up today is the spaghetti monster. So you know what? It's okay to be wrong.
That is right.
Who in the room has really quick ideas of how to fix the spaghetti monster?
But I'm picking a theme here, and it's culture. So maybe you got to have the culture advantage coming out next.
That's great. But listen, if there's anybody to write the book on the culture advantage, it's this team here. I'll write the forward, and it's this team here. They're doing everything they can, taking really good responsibility for just a high, a really strong culture. So,
well, I'm sensing there's fun in the room. You know, we had people comment that the energy in the room. Who does that? I mean, most places in corporate America around the world, they're not fun. They wouldn't take a break. They wouldn't dress up in a costume. They wouldn't allow people to stand up on stage here in Livestream. But you're blending thinking with fun. And how do those two coexist?
Well, Kary, it's actually I want to say it's a requirement, but that's a little bit of a bold move, because there's many times I just get very contemplative and thoughts come to me and I'm nice and clear and quiet. But especially in a group, and especially when you're trying to think of ideas and you have this big question, how can we make $1 billion? How can we serve 1,000 clients? Then that's when you really need, fun and celebration. And there's lots of scientists who have studied this too, where it actually increases your thinking ability. What would be a fun way to solve this horrible customer service issue? What would be a fun way to make our clients smile? So when you add that, it actually helps you think. It's actually part of the courage mindset in the courage advantage. It's one of the 3 things I found in teams that just really moved forward almost effortlessly with the tools. They had the courage to lighten up. So
I love it.
See it working. So let's do it.
I have to weave in one of my favorite movies because Dead Poet Society.
Yes.
Love it.
You write a lot about, not a lot, but you reference that in your book.
Oh yeah. I love Dead Poet Society because you look at Robin Williams in that movie. He was a massive thinker as a teacher, but they also had a ton of fun. In other words, you almost have to be unorthodox.
Yeah.
And he didn't fit the mold, neither did his students. But to me, that's kind of what you're doing with EOS and your teams. And give us the link to your people in the room, because I've heard you say their name a few times. What is their website?
Yeah. You guys check this website out too, and check out everything that they're doing, because it's amazing. Their product is amazing, and remember that's a lot for recruiters, but their culture is amazing. In fact, I'm going to just share a little secret. So the website is www.thinkwhy.com, all one word.
WHY.
Yep, WHY, think, and the word why. But one of our very first sessions is, I think it was Claudine who said it. So I think it's Claudine. It could have been somebody else. But she said, if we're going to create a tool that is people inspired and we're going to be selling it, one of our highest priorities has to be to have a great culture internally. We cannot have a crap culture and then, preach culture to the rest of the world.
Ooh, that's good.
I know we think about that every single time we meet in the room. But yeah, check out their culture. They're putting lots of fun stuff out there, but also Again, they're like the smartest people I coach. Sometimes they're talking about words and I'm like, I don't know. We call it clackety clack when Jill doesn't know what the techie words they're using.
I gotcha.
Clackety clack, but are you sure you want to do that? And they say, and I write it on the board.
There you go. I love the fun here. And Yavina is putting it up on the screen, thinkwhy.com.
Nice.
So now there's going to be a ton of people checking out the company.
Awesome.
Well, listen, as we kind of land the plane today, we have talked about quite a few of the inside secrets, but what is that number 4? Because some people are tight.
I want to leave you guys thinking. So we also didn't talk about number 3. So I'll just do that real quick. So
yes.
Coach, the third step in this algorithm is don't rescue. So remember I said it's just kind of ingrained in us to want to help people. Well, when you're really trying to have the thinking advantage, what people really need in order to think is they need their own experiences. So if you've taught them how to do something and you've coached them how to do something, then what we want to do as bosses is we want to say, well, now I've taught you and coached you, but just this once, I'm going to do this thing for you. And we want to rescue them. Let me talk to the customer that's irritated. Let me handle that big negotiation.
Guilty.
And, guilty. That's right. That's right. He's self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What we're doing is we're initiating the thinking. And then as soon as we grab that task from somebody, we shut it right down again.
Wow.
So we're giving our people a taste of thinking. And then when we rescue, we shut it right down.
That's my take. Listen, I struggle with that because I'm a helper. I'm a doer. But you're right. You it's almost like you create, and no shame on anybody here, but it's almost like you create the 35-year-old who lives in your basement and doesn't have a job when you do that, because you're not teaching them to grow up. And by the way, if you're 35 and in your basement, it's all good. I love you. Okay.
That's right. I'd like to live in my mom's basement, and I'm 45.
There you go. There you go.
Nice. She just cooks dinner every night.
Yeah, but hey, Jill's mom. But the point is, you're not raising your people up.
That's right. And Kary, you said I'm a helper, I'm a giver, and sometimes I find with those leaders who are just so servant-hearted that they actually feel bad seeing their employees make that hard call on their own the first time. And there's a really fun story I tell in the book about the day I let my son drown.
Whoa.
He calls it the day mom let me drown. But I knew what I was doing. Read the story. I'll even maybe say it in a video because it's so funny. But I could see ahead. I could see that he was not in harm's way, but he couldn't. So we as bosses feel like I'm gonna let this person fly on their own, and they're nervous. Of course they're nervous. They can't see ahead, but bosses can see ahead a little bit more. And as I didn't rescue Tyler, he was just fine, and he learned some things. So make sure we're not rescuing. That's the third step. And if you are rescuing, there's a kind of a super secret speakeasy tool for you on those times when you really have to rescue. Because if Tyler was really in danger, I would have jumped right into that dam and pulled him out.
Yeah.
So here's the 4th step then. And the 4th step, so similar to the first step that was so basic and you just have to do it. This 4th step, very easy. But if you don't do it, you lose all of the effort of the first 3 steps. So the last step is return and reflect. And just like humans need some silence in order to get their brain going, humans also need to, in order to get 1% better, we need to talk about what we just experienced. So as a boss, you've taught, you've coached, you didn't rescue, you didn't pull them out of the river. But then once they get out of the river and you're drying them off, then you just say, how did it go? What did you learn? What do you think you'll do different next time? What do you want to keep for the following time? And your only job right there is to just kind of be quiet and listen to them talk. And what happens in our brains is when we talk about something, our brain tags that memory as important. It's important. So as we sleep every night and our brain cells, they shrink microscopically, and this glimpse stuff like washes your brain. That's like a true brainwashing. It won't take those really important lessons and wash them away. It says, that thing's got to stick. Then the next time you're in that situation, you probably won't need to go to your boss very much, because when you think back and you say, where did I learn that? I learned it right here. It's already there. I'm not the authority or the learning or the direction on the boss. So this is a really great algorithm. And even if you can just even from listening to this launch here, if you can just do 1% better in each one of those 4 steps, you're going to start creating this thinking advantage in your companies.
I'll tell you what, Jill, this has been super enriching. And I love the fact with the fun too, because, a lot of times we think, thinking boring, this type of thing, but really the companies that are lighting it up, including thinkwhy.com. Hey, and here's fun. We got some alcohol or wine or something.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, we need to make a champagne toast.
We do.
Your launch, and we're so grateful that we had the chance to participate in your launch. So
thank you.
It'll be a lot of air toast.
Okay.
But you will have the real thing. So can you pop the cork?
No, I don't know that I've ever done that before. Wait.
You just take 2 thumbs.
Okay, wait. He's going to teach me.
Hey.
Take 2 thumbs.
Okay, I'm going to take 2 thumbs.
Up
All
here.
right. I'm going to aim it. See,
Well,
he's using the thinking advantage. Oh, no.
Here
Don't
we go.
rescue me,
Here we
Ron.
go.
Don't
Pop it,
rescue
baby,
me.
pop it.
She wants to do it.
Hey! Yay, Jill. Way to go.
So that Ron just rescued me, and he got the champagne for me. Thank you.
Look at that. Look at that.
My goodness.
That
All
is,
right, say a toast.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Way to go, Jill. Thinking advantage.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you, ThinkWhy, and thank you, Kary. Cheers. Thank you. Oh, Paul. Paul says it is 5 p.m. in the UK. Well, here you go, Paul. You can have mine. There you go. Good job, Paul.
hey, listen, that was amazing. And it just goes to show he was thinking ahead. I mean, he was thinking of you. He was thinking of the team, thinking ahead. So great job. We've never done quite one like this before, with a rabbit, a unicorn, and a carrot and wine.
That's great. Hey, leave it to us, right? Entrepreneurs.
Thinkwhy.com.
We have ideas and we just make them happen.
That is true. And we'll put in your website as well, tractionfirst.com.
Tractionfirst.com, links to all of the books there. And if you have a question or you just need to chat, I'm also open to that as well. Happy to hear from everybody.
Take care, Jill. We'll see ya.
All right. Thanks a bunch, Kary.
All right, bye.
Thank you.